Valentino and Marty Schwartz coming to you live from Nashville. Practice your guitar. Watch some lessons.
Or not.
Or not, and just get yourself one of these. And then you don't have to practice guitar. That should just be the opening clip.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry, it will be. Hey, what's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music, hanging out with my friend Harry Valentino from the awesome band High Fade from Scotland. You guys are all the way over here in Nashville. You're on your tour.
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't even remember, a few different people have like played, shared your clips with me, and it's just like, couldn't be more up my alley. And so I'm so happy to have you here, man.
Dude, thank you for having us.
You guys are so awesome. So I just want to make sure that you guys follow High Fade, and also because you're young, you're crushing the social media thing.
We're getting
you're
out there.
Constantly, interacting with people that are watching you.
Yeah. We try and reply to everyone, and it's crazy what social media can do. Like, in the last year or something, I think we're almost on like 50 million views across all the videos and stuff.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it's just at High Fade Music.
Okay.
And then it's the same on all our platforms, just at High Fade Music.
Love it. Well, I'm about to say something, but it's a compliment, not an insult. You resemble a little bit like the younger, more handsome Jack Black.
Man, I've had that a lot of times. A lot of times. I'll take it, man. Man, Jack Black's a great guy. Like, what an absolute legend.
Super legend. But if you look at him when he was but you look at him when he was 24, he's like, people always go, "Wow, Jack Black was actually like a handsome guy." I forgot.
Dude, someone sent me a photo of him when he was younger, and I was like, "Oh, nice." I was like, "Okay, cool, nice." Man, he was rocking it back then. He looked cool as. There's this one photo of him, man. When you see him, it looks like a jail photo. Don't get me wrong. But like, it looks like proper poison. I'm like, man, I was like, damn, really, wow. And Jack's vocals as well, man.
He's incredible.
Like, I remember when I was younger, seeing School of Rock.
I was just gonna say that had to.
Dude, massive influence.
Did you play guitar yet?
No, so I started playing guitar when I was 15, so quite late.
Yep.
I tried when I was younger, and I had an older sister, her name's Georgia, and she picked up a guitar and was way better than I was. And there's like 4 years between us, and I was like, what's this? So I tried it, and then obviously I got sick of it. And then I tried Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool, I'm kind of getting the hang of this. But then the thing was, and then my sister picked up Guitar Hero, and she was way better at Guitar Hero than I was. And I was like, well, damn. And then that's literally when I used to play rugby, and then I couldn't play rugby anymore. Caught an injury and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. The classic story. Then picked up a guitar from that, and then I was like, well, I can't suck at real guitar and Guitar Hero, so I was like, I have to learn one. So then I literally just sat every day, man, for like hours, just playing on this like beat up classical guitar thing that my dad had that had like one steel string on it, like totally just. And I remember him being like, oh, you can watch the Crossroads film, the one with So sitting there doing that, I was going Steve Vai ripping all that. So I just remember sitting there having that thing on repeat.
So you have an older sister. So how old's your dad?
So my dad he'd be in like his mid-50s now, but he introduced me, man, to like a lot of like rock. Same with like my mom. This is where like a lot of it's funny. A lot like the funk kind of stuff comes from like her. She loves disco and funk and like Chicago like house music and stuff. She really brought that on. My dad loves like blues, classic rock, a lot of like jazz kind of stuff. He's big like Free and Led Zeppelin fan, all that kind of stuff. I'm 25 in a couple of weeks, man. It's all right. I'm a quarter of the way to 100. So.
Well, I'm just about twice your age.
Halfway to 50.
Yeah.
Damn, it goes fast.
I'm a half a year to 50.
Dude,
Much
you're
different.
doing phenomenal for being... Gee, what?
I'm 49, yeah.
Is that got like red light therapy in it or something?
No, it's you doing something you love.
Facts, yeah. Great.
Please, Harry, savor these moments.
Dude, you know what's funny? I genuinely do, though. The happiest I've ever been in my life has been living in an RV with my 3 best friends, living out of a backpack, and all I have to my name is literally the clothes that are in that RV. This
Wait, hold on, that
pedalboard,
sounds like a
amp, and
country
guitar.
song.
There we go. Oh my god. We have a thing at sound checks, man, where we do that. See if the sound guy's like getting pissed off or whatever, or he's like, say there's something wrong and he's trying to fix it, we all just start being like, and you see him like start to notice, and he's like, dude. And you see him start looking at you, and he's like, are you guys serious, man? And you're like, sorry, I shouldn't swear, but, and then I'll just be like, you see the reaction. We do that. Honestly, sound checks with High Fade are probably the funniest thing ever. Everyone in the venue seems to really be up for it as well, which is great. We'll just like take the piss out of our own songs. Like, it's just great. Like, we won't change the lyrics either. We'll just do stuff in it. Me and Ollie have this bit that we do where I like run over and like swipe my guitar across his head and all that. Not actually on his head.
Yeah.
I love using that chord, man. It feels so universal and nice. But then this is the funny thing.
The 6/9.
No, like that minor 7 shape.
Oh yeah.
But then that's what I mean is like using that 6/9 opens it up, and then see when you go from to then. It feels very natural to go from that. But
doing that shell.
Yeah. But I
then
always
this
play it with like the middle, with that there, so I can easily get to.
Oh, so you can go.
But then here's the cool thing: we've got in our tune "Burning" live. I'll do this like burning up, man. He's burning up. Big tune. It's hot.
Burning
here.
up.
Yeah, it's hot. You go and listen to it.
Burning up. Man, how did you come up with those deep lyrics?
You know what?
And
man,
the Grammy for songwriter of the year.
You know what, man?
Burning up.
I actually don't know. I think I read it somewhere.
The stuff I've seen of you guys is just so high energy.
I think it's because we all love playing
Yeah, it
together.
shows.
And it's one of those that like everything from soundcheck to like the end of a show, we all do it together. We all travel together. We basically like live and breathe like the thing that we're doing, which you'll know that from like playing and touring. And I remembered seeing one of your videos where you talked about it as like that human connection of playing with other people is like such a big thing. And it is so true because literally playing on the street is what got us into that. I started High Fade 6 years ago. And then there's been like multiple lineups and stuff. I think there's been like 6 drummers. There's only been 2 bass players. Ollie joined about a year and a half in, 2 years.
I thought you were going to say there's only been 2 bass players and it's the same guy. It's like multiple personalities.
Ollie and I used to...
or with or without whiskey. Which one did we get?
To be fair, man, none of us drink at shows, actually. Now that you mentioned the drinking thing, it's funny. Maybe like after show every now and then, if we've got like 3 days off or something after, we're we'll have a nice one. But we just done like 8 shows in a row.
That's unique to your generation.
Yeah.
If you were in a band 20 years ago, there's no way you're
people like, we got 8 shows, yeah.
I bet people are trying to buy you shots and party with you guys because you have a party energy in your music.
So that's the thing, and sometimes people seem really surprised. People at venues seem amazed. Like we'll send them like a writer, and they're like, "There's no alcohol in here." They're like, "Are you guys? Are you messing with us?" Like they're like, "Is there something we don't know?" And they're like, "Where's the beer? Where is it?" And we're all just like, "Oh, we're just here to play, man." Like, you know, and it's funny. Like I feel like I can give more energy to the show and the crowd when I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like afterwards, whatever you do after a show is great, but I just feel like personally, like it would become a vicious cycle for me if I was doing that. I'd be always like chasing that thing. Whereas it's one of those, I can be like dead tired, man, and crazy, and we've driven however long, but as soon as it's like sound check time, I'm like, don't know, it's like I'm just being injected with something. I'm like, right, cool. And even the people are like, I swear 5 minutes ago that guy was just like lying down in the RV, and now he's like on this stage going nuts. And like we were in Denver, and the guy in the sound engineer was like, guys, it's just the sound check. We were like, yeah, we know, man. You know,
you're like going full show,
full on, like you know, just like it was like, what is going on? The manager of the venue came out and was like, I've never been so buzzed for a show in my life. They're like, what's going on? But it's one of those that I think that comes from from busking. I remember going out in the street on my own. I play a lot of like Spanish music and like flamenco style kind of stuff. I love like Paco de Lucia, John McLaughlin, Al Di Meola, like live Friday Night Live in San Francisco is like my favorite album of like all time.
Yeah.
That's really what got me into
I listened to that
guitar.
when I was your age.
It really got me into playing guitar when I was like 15, 16. I remember hearing that and I was like, I've never heard people play guitar like that, and it sent me on this path. So I went out on my own as like a street performer with just me and a loop pedal pretty much, and then I was like, this would be really cool if I did this like as a band. And then I played in a lot of bands, maybe 5 or 6 until I started High Fade, and then I was always just the guitar player. I never really planned on being a front man. It was one of those kind of things. It came about because I was in this like rock kind of like sludgy heavy thing, bit of indie stuff in there as well. And then the frontman of that band, who was my best friend, we grew, like, you know, we spent so much time together. I would finish high school. He was a little bit older, kind of like an older brother to me. He passed away in an accident. And then from that, I was like, well, I don't have a band anymore. I still want to do music. And it kind of gave me this reason to almost keep doing music. And it was one of those, like, I remember dealing with it at that point. I was like 17 at the time. And I was like, you know, your brain just goes, pfft. And then from there, it almost gave me this like outlook on music and life, as I'm like, well, I can either choose to be like defeated by this thing and like the grief of all, or I can choose to do something positive with it, keep playing, go out on the street and do my thing. And like, I love seeing people in the street, people that have never heard of you, that don't know you, they're tourists or wherever they're from, they stop in the street and then they join your show. And playing to an audience that hasn't bought a ticket, doesn't know your music, doesn't like your music, or is like, what's that noise that these kids are making? It's one of those things that I love the busking so much that it almost kind of brought all of us together in this weird kind of way.
So you busked with the full band?
With a full band, and I just took it out on the street. We literally ran the whole thing off of like batteries that were bought online.
And then some videos of it become popular?
Yeah, and then, I busked for like 4 years before any sort of success on a video. Right. And I was always posting stuff on the High Fade page. You know, I was playing gigs. We had a residency night every Tuesday night in Edinburgh. It's called Stramash Tuesdays. And it was from 12:30 till 2:30 in the morning. Technically Wednesday morning, as someone once pointed out to me. But I was like, no, it's Tuesday night. It doesn't have the same ring. Stramash Wednesdays, Stramash Tuesdays. It was
you have to say Tuesday, right?
Pretty much. And then it became this thing in Edinburgh. It was like a funk and disco night, and we would have a guy on playing before us, just playing like covers and stuff, doing his thing. And then once that was done, for about an hour before, I would put on like an old school like disco and funk playlist and get people like fired up. Trying to get people into a venue at like 12:30 at night on a Tuesday night is tough going. So put this way, it's character building. But we would go out in the street, man, and we would literally just stop people and be like, hey man, this gig is like free entry. Do you want to come in? We played for free for like, 4 years in Edinburgh. Literally, and Stramash Tuesday was a thing for about 6 years that I was doing it. But I would do that, I would do busking, and then there was another venue in Edinburgh called Whistle Binkies, and it was like this kind of like dive bar kind of thing. But it was the same thing. Like we started playing there, and then I remember going in there for the first time trying to get a gig, and like our style of music, it was kind of like a rocker bar, like blues and rock only.
Yeah.
That was it. Like they didn't want anything else. I remember going into the guy, and I was 18 at the time. I just got my first car. I was like, cool, now I can start driving myself to gigs. This is great. I'm going to do it. Edinburgh, there's only maybe like 5 places you can go and play shows in and get paid to play in these places. It's like, it's free entry, but they pay the bands and all this kind of stuff. And then from there, I remember going in and speaking to the guy. His name was Jim, and he was this huge guy. Bald head, massive tattoos, huge, just like this monster of a guy. And he's a bus driver now, which is the hilarious thing. But at the time, like, super cool guy though, once you got to know him. But at first it was really scary. And me being me, I'm like, damn, I'm only able to come into venues for like 2 weeks. Because I can come into venues at 18 back home. And then he turns around and he's like, we don't do the disco and funk pish in here. I was like, oh, any chance of a gig? And just stone cold looked at me and I was like, oh, great. Like, well, that's my hopes and dreams dashed. So I write him out my phone number on a bit of paper and I go, if anyone pulls out from a gig, phone me. and me and
Nice.
me and my guys will come and do it.
Nice.
And they still have the note hanging up in their office now, which is funny.
That's awesome.
And it was literally me, and I just remember writing like the High Fate email, the phone number. And then by this point, I just got my license and whatnot to drive. And then there was a problem or something with my car. I had to drive like 4 hours up north somewhere. This was maybe 3 months later. And I get a phone call at like 6 p.m. And I'm like, oh no, like what is it, you know? And he's like, oh, you want to come and play a gig? And it was a Saturday night, and I was like, yes, finally, my first gig in this place. Like they finally need me. It's one of those, like, at the time, I didn't think as much of it, but it really kind of set me on this path of like, oh, you might as well throw the net out there. You get there like 7 minutes before the sound check's meant to start. Go on, play the show, and it was quite funny. Like it went down like so well, just this like high energy stuff on a Saturday night, and people were like, who are these guys? I remember going up to go and get paid after the show. I just remember going up to him and I was like, so do you still not do that disco and funk pish? And then from there on, he gave us like a weekly slot. But it was one of those that like, it was just that commitment to being like willing to take a no and be like, well, here's my phone number, and if you do need a gig.
So important, man. I mean,
and you just got to almost take that chance sometimes.
It's a good lesson. So tell me more about the funky side of you, because as you know, like if you call yourself funk, it's a very small genre compared to saying rock or indie rock. Or...
I would say it's like I love all the classic funk stuff. That's what I grew up on. That, soul, disco, Motown, that kind of thing. And then like the heavier stuff, some proggy stuff, some jazz stuff. But like when it comes to like funk stuff, I love like Bernard Purdie, I love James Brown, I love Earth, Wind and Fire, Stevie Wonder, like a master of just the keyboard and vocals.
Of course.
And and like Maceo and stuff, and just those solos, and like you'd have these breaks and all this kind of stuff. And I just feel like a lot of the funk influence comes from, I almost wanted to have that, but then I also come from like I have a lot of like Latin influence, but I also love a lot of like progressive and heavy stuff. I love Meshuggah. I love like Dream Theater and Pliny and a lot of these like modern. Well, yeah,
you did some sweepies.
That's like I love all that kind of stuff as well, as far as that kind of goes.
What's like the first riff you remember playing?
The first riff I think that I ever properly learned. Yeah, I was with it. And then after that, it was definitely. That intro. That intro, and then probably.
Yeah.
It's great. We get so many people sending us from all over the world. We had a guy from Mexico the other day. A Japanese band has covered 3 of our songs. So fun. Dude, what's amazing though is it's so funny. There's a solo in the song Burning.
Yeah.
Dude posted a video. And he actually...
You play the same solo every time. So on that song.
So
it's like
most of the time, I'll kind of change it. So he posted it, and there was one of the licks in it that he played differently than how I play it. And I was like, what is he doing? At first I was like, what's he doing playing it differently? Like, what's going on? And then I tried it, and I was like, that's so much easier. I was like,
oh,
wow.
He just played in a different position?
So the lick is like, whereas he was just, I was like, because it's like, I would always play it, and we always tend to speed up when we're playing live because everything's faster. And I was struggling at one point. Sorry. And I was like, oh man. And then I seen him play it, and I was like, so this is why I love when people cover our tunes, because it might give me something that I'm like, it's actually a way better way to play what I was just playing. Like that, I was like, oh dude, that's so much easier than trying. I was still a bit like, oh, am I going to admit defeat on that one? And I was like, you know what, I actually am. I was like, it's an easier way of playing a song.
What heroes have you met?
Oh, man, Glenn Hughes.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And he's been like a rock from when things started going crazy for us. I remember we went to a show. He was playing in Edinburgh maybe like a week later, and he messaged us, and he was like, oh, he played in a band called Trapeze, and he messaged us, and then we were just chatting, and then we met him at his hotel in Edinburgh, and then he invited us all out, and he's just like, just basically come say hi and see what the deal is. And I will never forget what he said to me when he came up and we were meeting, and then at the end I just was like, you know, I appreciate all the support. He comments on our stuff like all the time, and he messages us and he's like, how's it going? And anytime we're like in the States, he's like, let me know if you need anything. Like such a
Does he live in the US?
Yeah, he stays out in LA. He was like, keep doing what you're doing, and I'll never forget, he was like, believe is what he said. That there, and it's stuck in my head ever since. And that was about a year and a half ago, and I just remember him being like so genuine and honest about it, and you know, warning us about the pitfalls of like, he's like, cool, once this thing starts going, you know, like you need to embrace it and do your thing, but he's like, you know, basically stay on the straight and narrow and don't let it just go to your head. Keep working as hard as you have been working. And I'm very grateful that I'm able to make a living from what I do and get by. And the fact I can pay my bills back home and still tour here is phenomenal. Don't get me wrong, things are very expensive now, especially, and there's not, you know, the future is always uncertain, but you have to prepare yourself the best you can. And I really take like the business side of it very, very seriously. As much as I love the music, I've always tried to understand the business side. And again, learned that from my dad. He works for himself, and then, you know, I worked with him, and then I left that job. It was like, screw this, I'm gonna go do my own thing. And then I remember him saying to me, he was like, if you genuinely believe that you can do it, he's like, go and do it and do not hold back, and like just go for it.
Yeah.
And he never doubted it once. And he was like, if you think you can do it, and he was like, if you can make a living from it and you can still find enjoyment in doing that, then go and do it.
All right, once again, I was hanging out with Harry Valentino from High Fade from Edinburgh, Scotland. Love having you here. It was so fun jamming. Funk has always been in a special place in my heart. So to jam with someone like you and see a young person doing that, and the way you guys do it in an original way, I just love it. So I want to make sure everyone checks the links down in the description for all your social media. You guys are really active on the internet, and you guys will love it. And go see High Fade. Go buy a ticket. Go
Check
see
it out
him
live.
You'll have the time of your life. You'll boogie down.
Highfademusic.live. You can find all of the stuff there.
Love it. So thanks again, man, and hope to see you guys again soon. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. See you guys later.
Bye, guys.